Welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful video of Let's Talk But No Politics Okay presents This Week in Pop Culture History Review. I am your host, Andrew Lenz, and I host Let's Talk But No Politics Okay, a fun, nostalgic pop culture podcast that comes out every Sunday on the BICBP radio network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible. We're all over the place. Putting out great numbers. And thank you, the listener. If you listen to the podcast already, thank you very much. If you don't, please go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of joy to do, just like these videos that I do as well with the Pop Culture History Review. I mainly do it, and it's kind of weird because I was thinking about the other day, why do I do these graphics and do something every single day as well? And I probably talked about this on the last one, but in case you're new to it, I'm going to talk to you more about it. It's a lot of nostalgia. That's number one, but it's a lot of things that I forget about, or I was born pre-internet, so it wasn't always as easy to just hop onto a smartphone or computer and just grab the information of when certain things happened as well. And my pop culture history expands of stuff that I like and I know, and everything expands all over the place. Pop culture is huge. It's with us every single day. Pop culture history also kind of entwines with regular history as well, like historical history, I guess I want to say. But that is why I do this, is for the nostalgic factor, and it makes me go back to oh my goodness, that's when that really did happen. I'm not even 100% sure. And it's also a learning experience. Very, very fun learning experience as well. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. And this is for everything what happened in pop culture history from May 3rd to May 9th. So, and also May 9th was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there as well. And also please go check out Pat Johnson and I doing our Mother's Day episode of TV Moms, and also talking about our moms as well. But here we go. Like I said, without further ado, let's get into it. May 3rd, 2002, SpiderMan starring Tobey Maguire premieres in theaters. Pretty big, because the biggest Marvel movie I can remember growing up was the cheesy Captain America one, and the Nick Fury movie starring David Hasselhoff. That is about as far as Marvel movies got at that point. I know there was a Spider-Man TV show in the 70s. I never saw that. I did watch The Incredible Hulk as a kid as well, but I think that was more reruns due to the time that I was born. And so that was pretty much it. Other than a cartoon, there wasn't too much live action Marvel going on. And then we get Spider-Man up on the big screen. Tobey Maguire played an excellent Peter Parker, excellent Spider-Man, I thought. I remember going to see this in the theaters, and I still remember being upset about how he would naturally shot web out of his like wrist instead of actually using web fluid. But this was a very good movie. I think Tom Holland might be a little bit better of a Spider-Man. That's just my personal opinion. I know that's a big debate along with Batman as well. But like I said, that's a personal opinion. And it was a really great movie. Help kind of, I think, supplant showing that Marvel movies can make money. Because you did have the cartoon show. X-Men was big and everything else at that point as well with cartoons. So why not go live action, make it bigger, and just make it awesome? And this is kind of our forte into the Marvel universe, and Sony having their iron grip on Spider-Man as well. So, May 3rd, 2002, SpiderMan starring Tobey Maguire premieres in theaters. Let's go on to our next one. Is May 4th, 2009. This is a sad one. Dom DeLuise passes away. I remember Dom DeLuise being on a lot of Muppet shows. I know he was in Cannonball Run. I think he was in Cannonball 2 as well. And I remember his big time last kind of role as well was in Robin Hood Men in Tights, where he played that very good Godfather role with the cotton balls in his mouth, and it was just really awesome. But those are just pretty much my memories of Dom DeLuise, is just in those movies and him being on a TV show, and he's the guy with he was the very outgoing guy with the hat. That's what he was to me as a kid. I knew he was a star. I just didn't know how big of a star he was until I got older and seeing all the different things that he did. And it was really weird to see him without a beard when he was younger as well. But May 4th, 2009, Dom DeLuise passes away. Very sad. So the next one, May 5th, 1934. You might be thinking 1934. That's a little far away. The first Three Stooges short was released titled Woman Haters, which I don't think could be a title that would fly today at all, but it's a very historical moment in pop culture history right here with the Three Stooges. Even though it's something from the 1930s, 1940s, I know they went all the way up until like the 60s as well. The Three Stooges is something that I grew up on, and probably the only connection of pop culture my wife and I have. She is a huge Three Stooges fan. She still sits there and watches it to this day, nonstop. If it's on TV, she's watching the Stooges. I love the Stooges as a kid because it was just pure comedy. I remember buying a Three Stooges tape and they had the Three Stooges cartoon on there as well. Anything Three Stooges, I loved. They're probably the greatest trio of comedians ever. And I even liked kind of the remake movie of the Three Stooges that paid homage to them. I thought the actors played it pretty good as well. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. It was good. Three Stooges is great. They've been on Nintendo games as well. Everything. Because they're still to this day, they're absolute legends. They live on with that, I guess slapstick comedy, but it's just amazing. Curly, Larry Moe, Shumplay, they're on. You guys are awesome. Everything that they did was absolutely amazing. May 5th, 1934, the first Three Stooges short was released, titled Woman Haters. Like I said, a title today that I don't think we could get by too quickly on. But that's a different discussion, and we do not discuss politics. May 6, 1983, Dr. Detroit is released in theaters. I've only seen this movie about twice, but it laid such an impression on me in this movie to see Dan Aykroyd play this, play a pimp. Pretty much this mob boss pimp, and he goes to the big convention and everything else, and the glove on his hand is absolutely. I've not seen this movie in probably about 20 years, if not longer, as well. So I don't have too many memories coming off the top of my head, but it was pretty amazing. It was a funny movie. I wish I could see it again. And when I was going through, seeing what's going on different dates, and I saw this, I was like, Dr. Detroit, I have to put this on there. We got to do something with Dr. Detroit. It's 100% got to be that way. So May 6, 1983, Dr. Detroit is released in theaters. Great Dan Aykroyd movie. Go check that out. Today in history, May 7th, 2000, or pop culture history, I'm sorry. Today in pop culture history, May 7th, 2005, Holla Bat Girl by Gwen Stefani hits number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. My first introduction to the song was I was overseas and we were getting ready to go out to our duty area. And there would be a radio station that broadcasted out of Baghdad, an American army radio station that broadcasted out of Baghdad. We would get it, and I heard the song, and I'm like, you got to be crapping me. And then all of a sudden, I was like, this is it was one of those songs that I felt was so bad that I loved it. And to this day, I still love Holla Bat Girl. I sing it. My daughter loves it, who wasn't even born at this time, but she loves it as well. My wife is over it, I would have to say. She's definitely over me listening to the song, and I don't think she ever wants to hear me sing it again. But it's an iconic song and I can't believe how old it is. It's 16 years old now. I remember when it was brand new. That's why I do these things, because I got to remember it at some point. But May 7th, 2005, Holla Bat Girl by Gwen Stefani hits number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Because there ain't no Holla Bat Girl. May 8th, 1964, Melissa Gilbert is born. Some people might not know who Melissa Gilbert is. The best way to do it, she's Laura Ingalls, not the real Laura Ingalls, but she played Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. That's how I was introduced to her. I think most kids, if you grew up in the 80s, you watched probably at least one episode of Little House on the Prairie. Michael Landon, Man's Man, Bonanza, Highway to Heaven, Little House on the Prairie. Awesome guy. But that's not about him. It's about Melissa Gilbert. I remember she got a role in a show, I think in the early 90s on Fox, and my mom was all hyped about it because she was going to be on the show, and she's like, oh, there's Laura Ingalls. But outside of Laura Ingalls, and there's not too much, but that's an iconic role to play Laura Ingalls, going on from a best-selling book series to playing this iconic role on this awesome show that I think everybody I know has pretty much watched it or at least heard of it. And she is centered around there, and kind of like Christopher Reeves with Superman, she's just known as Laura, the lady that played Laura Ingalls Wilder, or Laura Ingalls before she became the Wilder as the author, but Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. So very interesting, very awesome, iconic role as well. And May 8th, 1964, Melissa Gilbert is born. And for our last one, May 9th, 1997, The Fifth Element is released in theaters. This is probably, top 5 favorite Bruce Willis movies, maybe even 2, unless I could really sit down and think about it. Die Hard's always number 1 for me, but The Fifth Element is awesome. I don't know what the critics said about it. I heard that not all will like it, but come on, Lilu Dallas Multipass. Great movie. It has that big Trouble in Little China feel to it, but set in more of a futuristic aspect, where here's this guy, he just gets sucked into the situation, doesn't want anything to do with it. He was in the military, completely done. They rig the what is it? The game, so he gets put on this cruise. Chris Tucker is amazing in this movie as well. In my mind, there's not a bad part or a bad boring part in this movie. I'm going to do spoilers, from them needing to collect these stones to save the world from this. They never really quite explain it, what it is, but they need to save the world from it, or it's going to come and destroy the earth. You have Tiny Lister playing the president, which I thought was super, super cool, because I don't know any movie where they would look at Tiny Lister and be like, you know what, you my friend, you can be the president. We're gonna have you be the president, because it just how he looks. He's a big guy. You don't think of the president as this big guy. I mean, unless it's Idiocracy. But The Fifth Element is great. This futuristic world. She's this superior being, and then they got to get her, or she's a superior weapon. She's pretty much a weapon. Like I said, there's spoilers. So many great parts, from the guns, where he just walks in and shoots the leader of that like alien force in the head, so then that way they all surrender as well. I love The Fifth Element. It is absolutely amazing. One of, like I said, definitely top 5 favorite Bruce Willis movies of all time. Just that iconic Bruce Willis role. I don't think anybody else could play this part as well. And so May 9th, 1997, The Fifth Element is released in theaters. And that concludes this Let's Talk But No Politics Okay presents this week in pop culture history review. Like I said, please go check out my podcast. It comes out every Sunday. BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, Audible, Amazon Music, and also bonus episodes every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Helium Radio Network. And also go check out the Let's Talk But No Politics Okay Facebook page, also on Instagram as well. So please go check out all those different social media platforms. And like I said, please go check out the BICBP Radio Network. Great shows. We have podcasts for everybody there as well. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.